He's the creator. He's the creator. So, it's interesting. Now, you have to listen very carefully, because what I'm going to say is a little bit deep. We know that in the Bible, there are different names of God. The Bible has different names of God. In the first chapter of the Bible, the name of God that's used in the creation story is the name, or the term for God, Elohim. Elohim. Now, when man is created, it says that we, us human beings, we were created in the image of Elohim. We were created, it says, B'Tselem Elohim, in the image of God. What it's telling us is that we have the ability, each one of us, each one of you, has the ability to be like God, in that you can also, listen carefully, you can also be a creator. You can also create. And one of the ways that we get close to God, again, is by imitating Him, is by being like Him. And one of the things that we know about God is that God is a creator. God created the world. So the question is, how do we create? How do we human beings create? So if we look at the story of creation, how does God create everything in the world? What does God do to create everything in the world? He speaks, right? He says, let there be light. Let there be apples. Let there be fish. Let there be stars. Let there be trees. Let there be grass. Right? That's how God creates, by speaking. But when it comes to the creation of human beings, does it say, let there be humans?
No.
It says, let us make man. So the big mystery is, who is God speaking to? When God says, let us make man, who is God speaking to? And there are many answers to this question. I want to share a very special answer on Baal Shem Tov. Baal Shem Tov said, and listen very carefully to me. Baal Shem Tov said that when God said, let us make man, God is speaking to every single person in the world. When God said, let us make man, God is speaking to you, and God is speaking to me. And God is speaking to every person who will ever exist. And the reason is because God cannot create you. God cannot create a human being in the same way that God creates an elephant. To create an elephant, God just says, let there be elephants. But when it comes to human beings, God can give you a body, and God can give you a soul, but what you become depends on what you do with those raw ingredients, right? You don't make a cake by putting flour and sugar and water and fruit into a bowl.
No.
Those are just the ingredients. You've got to do more. So human beings, when God makes us, God is able to give us body and a soul. But we know that each person is different. And so when God says, let us make man, What God is really saying to every single one of us who will ever live in the history of the world, God is saying, look, I cannot create you. Cannot. The only person
Okay.
The only person who is able to create you is you. The only person that can create you is you. And so when we think about how we can be like God, God created the whole world, but we have to create ourselves. We have the ability to be a creator. That's why, by the way, that's why. What is the name that the Bible gives to the first human being? What is the name in the Bible to the first human being? The first human being?
Adam.
Right? And why is the first human being called Adam?
From earth. He's from earth.
The first human being is called Adam because he came from the Adamah. Adamah means earth.
Yes.
So we are called Adam because we came from the Adamah. That's why we're called Adam. But think about it. What is earth? You can have a field. You can have a field of earth. And what is going to happen in that field? What's going to happen in that field? Well, if you take care of it, if you plow it, if you plant, if you fertilize, if you harvest, if you do all the things that is necessary to grow fruits and vegetables and trees, so you can have a piece of earth, a piece of land, and amazing things will grow from it. But you can have the same piece of land, and if you don't take care of it, what's going to grow there?
Grass. Weeds.
Not weeds. Right? So what you see from this, is that land, earth, is pure potential. Earth is pure potential. And the human being, Adam, is from the earth.
Excuse me, Rabbi.
Yes.
Rabbi Blumenthal is calling ka. Can we give us a minute to tell him that you extend this time?
I thought you go until 9 o'clock, he said.
He said, ningon siya?
I thought the schedule said that we go till 9 o'clock.
Yesterday. 9.
Okay, sir, go ahead. Go ahead, sir.
I-inform lang, ingno na
No, you
mo.
can tell if you want. I'm going to do it.
Nana,
I will tell only Rabbi Blumenthal to call later.
Yes, we go until 9 o'clock, I was told, right?
Yes.
Is that okay?
Yes. Dito sa Pikas to Bagayong. Go on, Rab. Rab, go on. Rabbi, continue. Continue, Rabbi.
So, yes, so what we see here is that the human being is called Adam, Because each one of us is basically like a field, like a plot of earth. And it's up to us, it depends upon us to see what's going to happen. Are we going to be people who grow? Are we going to be people who produce? Are we going to be people who fulfill our potential? And so, when we were created, God says, let us make man. Because God is speaking to every single one of us. And God is saying to each one of us, everyone in the room, God is saying, I want you to create a masterpiece. I want you to create a beautiful human being. But God is saying, I can't do it for you. God is saying, I can't do it. I cannot make you like I make a cat or a dog. God can make a cat or a dog. God can say, let there be a cat, let there be a dog. But God cannot say, let there be a human being, because it depends upon what we do. And that's why it's very interesting. After everything that God created, it says in the Torah, and God saw that it was good. And God saw it was good. Because what God is saying is that it came out, what He made was exactly the way He wanted. After everything that's created, the stars, the moon, the sun, the trees, the animals, the fish, the birds, it says God saw that it was good, meaning they were exactly what God wanted. But if you read the creation story, after the creation of man, it does not say God saw that it was good. It does not say God saw that it was good. Because it depends on what we do. It depends on what we do. So, Manuel is back.
Yes, sir.
So let's try to come to a conclusion, and I'll take questions. So the question is this: how do we grow? If the whole purpose of us being in this world, right? The purpose of being in this world is to grow. How do we grow? And what our sages teach us is we grow by working. And it's interesting, by the way, you remember what God told Adam and Eve. God told Adam and Eve, I'm putting you into this world to work, to preserve. That's why you put into the garden, to work the garden, work the garden. So we are able to grow. We are able to grow by working on our midot. How many of you know what this word means? Midot.
Emotions.
What is it?
Emotions.
Well, it's not emotion so much. The word midot means in Hebrew measures. Like where you live, you use gallons, meters, or how do you measure things? How do you weigh something where you are? How do you weigh things? What is the unit of weighing things?
Kilos.
So kilos are a measure, and a half kilo less than a kilo. So in Hebrew, the word midot. In Hebrew, dot are measurements, and what they refer to is not only our emotions, it refers to our personality. Midot refers to our personality. Each one of us, when you think about it, think about this, each one of us is different. You all know that you are different than other people.
Yes.
We have different measures. We have different measures of our personality. So, for example, some people, it's very perfect. Some people, very easy for them to get angry. Some people are very impatient, and they get angry very easily. Some people are very honest. By nature, they're very honest. Some people are very humble. You know, some people are very arrogant. Some people are very humble. Some people are very generous. And some people are not generous. They're very cheap. Some people are very sensitive. They're sensitive about other people. And some people are not very sensitive. Some people use their time very carefully. And some people waste their time. So there are different parts of our makeup, of our personality. And one of the ways that we're able to grow as human beings is by working on these parts of our personality. The rabbis teach, our holy rabbis teach, that the only reason the Torah was given was to help purify us, in order to help refine our personalities. There was a great rabbi, the Gaon of Vilna. The Gaon of Vilna said, the entire reason, entire purpose that you were put into this world was for the purpose of perfecting your character traits. And he said that if you don't do this, you're wasting your life. So we just discussed tonight, this morning for you, we discussed so far 2 reasons we are here in this world. One, the main reason is to get close to God, to attach ourselves to God, to have a relationship with God, and to get as close as we can in life to God. But part of this is by making our vessel, each one of us is a vessel, and by making a vessel that's more whole, it's a more perfect vessel. And the way we do this is by creating ourselves. And we create ourselves by working on our personality traits. We know that if you want to have big muscles, if you want to grow your muscles, what do you have to do? If you want big muscles in your arms, what do you have to do?
Work out.
You say work out?
Work out.
But the thing is this. If you work out by taking a pen and lifting the pen up in the air 50 times, you're going to get big muscles?
Weightlifting.
To grow muscles, you have to overcome what? You have to. What is that? You have to overcome.
Heavy loads. Weight
You have to overcome resistance. In order to grow muscles, you have to overcome resistance. There's no resistance to picking up a piece of paper. There's no resistance. It's very, very easy. You're not going to grow any muscles in your arm by picking up a piece of paper. But if you pick up a weight of 50 pounds or 25 kilos, then you will begin to grow your muscles. And the way that we are able to grow as human beings is by overcoming resistance. And it's important to understand that God put us into a world where growth is possible because it's a world where we are constantly being tested. Every moment in life is a test. Every moment in life, we can either do the right thing or God forbid do the wrong thing. And when we make the right choice and do the right thing, especially when it's difficult, then we grow. In the same way, when you lift up 80 kilos, you're going to grow your muscles. When you go through life and you make choices that were difficult to make, you grow. You become a bigger person. You become a more spiritual person. A holier person. And this is the idea of growing in the Todah. I think what I'd like to do, Nick, is just summarize a few sentences and take any questions that you may have. So, I talked about it this morning with you, is that the most important thing in our life is to always answer the first question, is to always remind yourself of the first question in the Bible. The first question is, where are you? Where are you? Accomplishing in life what you're supposed to accomplish. And we discussed tonight, or this morning, again, to you, we discussed that the main thing in life that we're supposed to accomplish is to do what God wants us to do, just to have the most pleasure possible in life, and we have that great pleasure by getting close to God, by attaching ourselves to God. And so, go through life, and we want to ask ourselves, are we here? Are we achieving the purpose that God created us for? The first question to always ask is, am I getting closer to God? Am I becoming more attached to God? And we discussed this morning a few ways in which we can do that. And one of the ways we do that, we discussed, was by becoming, just like God, a creator. And what we are able to create is ourselves. And we're able to create ourselves by growing in terms of our personality traits, more sensitive, more generous, more humble, more sensitive. And the more we do that and overcome resistance, we are growing and becoming bigger people, holier people, for spiritual. So I want to thank you all. I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for the invitation to be here with you. I think that gathering is a very, very wonderful gathering. It really brings tears to my eyes to see such a beautiful gathering with the people coming together for the purpose of learning, growing, and I was really honored to be asked to be part of your gathering and to be there with you this morning. I hope you learned something, and if there are questions now, Emmanuel, I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Yes, yes, Rabbi. Our brethren Ramon Aquino will ask question.
Please, Rabbi, may I have some question from the verse of Genesis 1:26.